Hi. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Yes, you all having a good time?
Absolutely.
Good.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay. Hi. Finally met her. I've heard about her for 30 years, about 40 years. Yeah, 40 years, and I've never met her. So finally.
It's about time.
It's about time, is right. Yep. Okay, so where did our guy go? So how are we doing this? Are you going to take questions?
Well, here's what we're going to do.
Hey, Peter.
We're going to make this real intimate because there was a bunch of people here with Tommy. So you ladies could just pick questions out and they'll be loud enough and they could ask you the question and you go ahead and answer it. How about that? Is that pretty cool?
Are you going to go for the mic? Are you going to walk over?
Well, have them come up front. How about we do that? All right, that works? All right, so Lydia will pick somebody out. You come up front, see me, like the whole thing we do with Tommy. It'll work out really well. All right, so let's start.
Okay, right here.
Right here. Your name and you're from and your question.
My name is Chris. I'm from Providence, Rhode Island. I read your book, and I was wondering, one of the interesting things you said that you had attended a wedding in the 70s in Providence. And I was wondering if you would happen to remember what venue that was. Was it?
I don't remember the venue, but I do remember the wedding. It was Nikki and Rick Monroe. Rick worked on, he was on the crew. And Nikki was his girlfriend, and she was a good friend of mine, and I was one of her bridesmaids. And I remember flying up by myself. He stayed home, and I remember being on the airplane with rollers in my hair, and because I was going from the plane to the event. And the funniest thing is, I took her to one of my favorite stores, and she bought her wedding gown in that store. And then the dresses that we were wearing, I already owned that dress, and the same store. She made her bridesmaids get, dresses in that. It was in the Village in Manhattan.
Oh, yeah.
But I really don't remember the venue. And I really don't know if I could even look that up.
Right.
But I do know Rick Monroe. He might remember it.
Right. Yeah, no, I was
Are you
interested in
Are you my friend on Facebook?
I am.
Okay, so remind me.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Next. Who's next? Let's wait a minute now. All right, I love Lydia, right? We all know Lydia, but we got to remember Lyn Christopher's here. This is awesome. So you got to go ahead and ask questions. Early days of Kiss. Who's a real Kiss fan here? Come on, Phil. You're talking over here. Go for the question. Wait. You got to talk into the microphone. They don't have bionic ears.
Okay, how you doing, everybody? My name is Phil, New York Rocks, and a pleasure meeting you, ladies, and a pleasure having everybody here. We all support one another because we're all in the Kiss family. And I'd like to ask Lydia, though, what was the first time that you met Peter Criss, and where was that? Because I don't really know that.
Well, then you didn't read my book.
That's why I came here, to find the info, it's all about the information. So I had an interview.
I was just out of high school, and I had friends, and I stayed friends with my high school girlfriends, and we used to go to the clubs in New York, and Cheetah was one of them, and every weekend we go to the Cheetah, and that's the one I remember that stands out to me the most. And I remember one weekend she couldn't make it, so she told me her cousin, Ronnie, was going to go with me, and Ronnie was going out with one of the guys in Peter's band. And Ronnie says, come on, I want you to meet the drummer. You're going to really like the drummer. And I said, okay. So that day, I actually went to the beach with Ronnie, and we got burnt. It was 103 degrees. And I came home, and when you get really, I tan really good, but I was red. I was like a color of a tomato. And I had a fever. And I says, I can't really go to the club. I can't go tonight. She begged me. She goes, even if you go for 1 hour, please go. And I said, all right, I'll go. And I pushed myself, and I put on this white dress that I had just bought. And with my dark hair, the white dress, and my red face, Peter said, as soon as I walked through the door of the club, he saw me, and he said he fell in love. This is what he told me. But, Peter's a talker. And then, believe it or not, crazy as I am, I went to the beach with him. That was our first date the next day. with a bunch of other people. We went to the beach and did I do something? All right, there you go. Okay. I think it was Brighton Beach. And I don't think it was Coney Island, but I think Brighton was where I used to go, and Manhattan. I used to go to Coney Island when I was really young. I used to go to see the fireworks every Tuesday with my parents.
All right. I have a question. How about this?
Sorry? Did I do electric?
Here you go. Here's your question. Let's break the ice. I'm glad Lyn has a question.
Actually came to my wedding. At Electric Lady Studio. Oh, let me tell you, Lydia came to my wedding back in the day, early 70s. So Lydia and I go back a while. But Lyn.
Well, this is Leon Delaney. He's Sean Delaney's brother.
Hey, thank you. Lyn, Electric Lady Studio, they backed up. Give the fans here a little history of Electric Lady in case they didn't know the Electric Lady recording studio in the village.
Well, you know what? To answer that question.
I didn't understand the question.
No, the Electric Lady recording studio, people don't know the history of it. Who founded it?
Oh, Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, Jimi Hendrix. Yeah.
Well, on top of that question, which is a good question, to break the ice, if you don't know who Lyn Christopher is, Paul and Gene, before they were in Kiss, sang background vocals on her album. That's pretty cool, right? But there's a lot more history that she has with the guys in Kiss. So I'm going to break the ice, and she's a little shy, and she may be a little nervous, but we got to make her feel comfortable right now. And I'm going to say, how about Lyn, you give us your rendition of your history with Kiss. This way you could just lay it out on the line like a story, and then you don't have to feel uncomfortable at all.
Lyn,
Okay.
I used to be shy also. Not anymore.
Not with these guys, come
No,
on.
but look at that.
So let's hear it up for Lyn. Come on, let me hear it. He was trying to break the ice. He didn't go about it the right way, but we got it underway here. Here we go, Lyn.
Hi, everybody. It's really good to be here. I felt, as I came in here, that I've always wanted to be here. And I've been in the freezer kind of for 40 years and just coming out. So meeting Gene and Paul when I was at Electric Lady Studios was not what, 1972, and they were Wicked Lester. They weren't Kiss yet. They hadn't formed the group Kiss yet. So they were Wicked Lester. They were Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, and they sang two songs, "Wedding" and "Celebrate." And I remember hearing them sing "Going to a Wedding," and Gene was singing "Going to a wedding, going to a wedding," and I was like, well, what is he singing? And the producer said, I don't know. And I asked Gene, what are you singing? And he said, "Going to a wedding, go." I said, no, it should be "Going to a wedding, a wedding." And he kept singing, "Going to a wedding." And every time I see him now, that's what he says to me. He says, "I can't believe that I sang 'Going to a Wedding' on my album." Then I was reunited with them about 15 years ago when they had their first farewell Kiss. And they got me tickets. They were very kind. They got me tickets, and I got to go backstage and see them. And when I got backstage, Gene came out, and all of a sudden he sang, "Celebrate, celebrate, dance to the music, celebrate." And everyone turned around, you know, like this, like, who am I? You know, I was like this little girl with a little hat on, and my jeans and my sneakers, just like everybody else, sweating to death because they were so great, you know, and I was screaming, yeah, go Gene, go Paul, yeah.
Where'd you see him, at the Garden?
I think it was the Garden, yes. And they were great. They were just incredible, and they've always been incredible to me. They've been respectful. Believe it or not, Gene never ever hit on me, ever. I mean, he never even asked me to go for coffee or tea or have a glass of water or nothing.
I'm very surprised.
I know, Lydia. Me too. But he was very, very respectful. Paul was very respectful also. I didn't know at the time, because I was very young, and like 21 today is not very young, but back then it was young. I still had like little bows in my hair, you know, and I didn't know that Paul was interested in me. He would follow me all over the place. In the studio, he would come out when they became Kiss, and we were both recording. He was recording in Studio A, and I was recording in Studio B. He would just come out and just stare at me, and I didn't know what to say. I was like, you know, I would go, hi, you know, and he'd say, hello. And well, I was not aware of him hitting on me at all. I was very, very, very naive. But one day, he came over to my apartment. He lived upstairs from me. And he knocked on the door, unannounced, and he came in, and we talked. You know, we talked about music and what he was doing, and, you know, we had a lot of fun together. And
Is that on 52nd Street?
52nd, right, 52nd Street, and between First and the River. He came over, and then when I moved to 77th Street and First Avenue, he came over, and I was surprised because I hadn't seen him in a long time, and I didn't even know that he knew where I lived. So I opened up the door, and I was like, whoa. What are you doing here? And, you know, he was like, I came to see you. I just want to see you, Lyn. So I said, okay, come on in, you know. We'll talk. We'll have some fun. He came in, and he sort of kind of like was hinting around about maybe a kiss or, anyway, I found myself... I found myself going into the bedroom, and he sat down on my bed and kind of like pulled me close to him, and I said, Paul, what are you doing? I'm married. You know, this is my bedroom. What are you doing? And he said, what do you mean, what am I doing? I said, well, what are you doing? You know, this is not right. And he said, okay. And he got up, as a gentleman would, and he said, well, what are you doing now? So I said, well, I have to go to dance school. I'm tap dancing at Carnegie Hall. So he said, well, come on, I'll take you in the limousine. So that's what happened. He brought me into the limousine, and I was like, wow, I'm in a limousine. This is fabulous. And he just... you know, brought me to Carnegie Hall, and I tap danced, and then I didn't see him anymore until 15 years later when I saw them at the Garden.
Wow. That's great.
So in other words, you're telling us Paul was a stalker? All right, you got history here. Paul's a stalker. Yes, what's your question?
What did you think of the makeup?
What did I think of the makeup? You mean initially? Well, I come from a strict Italian Catholic family, and I just couldn't get it in my head, how am I going to tell my family and my job? You know, it's like, how am I going to let them know that my husband's wearing makeup? But I kind of, you know, liked it once I saw it, because it wasn't, yeah, well, they started with feminine makeup, you know, like the New York Dolls, and that I didn't like too much. But then when they went for the white face, then, you know, it made more sense, and then, you know, it all happened little by little. So it was all a progression, and, you know, Peter came up with the cat because we had a cat, and we just loved the fact that cats are independent, and he copied the makeup, and I mean, luckily, you know, it's very, very cute, and a lot of the kids love, you know, his makeup. You know, because it's you know, like, it's just like, I always said he looked adorable with the makeup on.
I have a question for you. I had seen you and met you at the Kiss signing on Staten Island for the new book. And did you interact with Paul and Gene that evening? And how'd that go? Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
I just went up to them and I said, "Hi guys," and they turned around and they said, "Lyn," you know. And Paul was very receptive.
Again with the
And Gene was very receptive. Matter of fact, I have a picture over at the table where he's like this, getting ready to kiss me. So we kissed, and I was really happy just to be there, just to see them again. And I wanted to say something to Lydia about the makeup. I remember going to the library. Do you remember the library at the Palisades? When they first put their makeup on?
I remember going to New Jersey.
Right. We
Yeah.
went to Ron Johnson's house.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Right?
definitely, yeah.
We were with Ron Johnson, and they had come in and they had no makeup on at all. And my sister was dancing with Paul, and I was dancing with Gene. And about 15 minutes later, they went in and they changed into costumes. And they had come out with their makeup on, and the audience were not like us. They were more kind of like, you know, high scale with diamonds and long gowns and, you know, just lots and lots and lots and lots of money.
Money, yep.
And they came out and they were like, everybody went silent. They just went silent, and they were like, I think they were kind of like shocked or like appalled or like, what is this, you know? But after the guys started to play, they started to dance. They actually started dancing in their gowns and stuff, and they loved them after that, you know. And then we went to Ron Johnson's house, and I think we played volleyball. I believe we played volleyball.
I remember eating.
Yes.
Yeah, there was they had some sort of cooks, and you would order. I think I remember having quiche, and I remember having brie for the first time. The cheese. I said, "Oh, this must be a very high class cheese, because I never had this before."
Yeah, that's what it was like, and that's how, you know, it was very, very funny though, because we were all laughing and stuff, because all these people were like so snooty to us, and here they are, bigger than life today, you know. And I said to Paul when I was at the signing, the book signing, that I was so proud of him for just doing what he's done, the thing that he loved to do in his life. And he was proud of me for being proud of him. So, you know, it kind of was like, you know, when you stare into someone's eyes and your whole life kind of goes before you with that person, you don't have to talk. Your soul, the windows are your eyes to your soul. And we didn't have to say anything. And then what he did say to me was, he nodded his head and he said, "Yes, Lyn, you know, we made it." And I was like so proud. That was the only thing I could think of, was just to hold him and just be real proud of him, you know, because he worked real hard for where he's gotten.
Yeah.
He really has.
Awesome. See, there are some really good stories that Lyn can tell, right? And Lydia as well. She's got them all, guys. So who's next? You, my friend from Canada. Okay, he just turned 40, so he's all excited, and I'm excited for him. So come on up. Your name, where you're from. Well, we know where you're from, but your question.
Lydia, the question's for you. I know in 1980 you saw the first concert with Eric Carr at the Palladium. I wonder, how was it for you, and did you have a friendship with Eric and with the band at that time, and what it was like seeing Kiss for the first time without Peter?
Okay, and by that point I was divorced, so Peter was, I could care less about at that point, you know. I was actually glad that it happened, that he wasn't in the band anymore. I saw Eric's first concert and I saw Eric's last concert, and I saw nothing in between. So it was a long time when to see Kiss, but Eric and I did run into Eric a lot at clubs. I used to see him at the China Club, I ran into him at the Cat Club, and he was always a sweetheart to me. Always a really, really nice guy. I saw him once at Studio 54. There's a few times I'd run into him, and whenever I did, he was always a nice person. As a matter of fact, they used to ask me in those days, who's your favorite person in Kiss? And I used to say Eric Carr.
All right, since we're on that note, I have a question for you, Lydia. Have you read the Peter book?
Have I read it?
Yes.
Yes.
And what's your take on it? What's your take on it?
My take is Peter is delusional. He's a liar and an exaggerator. And I really think, and he's a Mona. I mean, that was always his name, Mona. He would always, that was his nickname. He'd always complain about everything. Peter, I know there's a lot of things in the book that he said to hurt me, because he probably was pissed off that I put a naked photo of him in my book, and he wanted to get even, but at least my book is honest and truthful. I read his book with a Sharpie, and I highlighted everything that was wrong. So,
I'm sure there's a lot of lines.
there's a lot of wrong things, and I don't think he planned on them being wrong. Some of the things he did say, he changed the names of certain people for some crazy reason. I mean, there was a story that he's telling about, that I know it was Bill Aucoin that came to our apartment, and in this story, he said it was Sean Delaney, and it wasn't. It was Bill Aucoin. And, I don't know why at the very beginning of the book he writes that he changes the names of certain people, and it's not to protect them. I don't know what it's for, but anyway, like I said, he's always been an exaggerator. So that's the way you have to take that book. And, I wish him luck with it, and I'm sure it's selling pretty good. And a lot of people love it. A lot of people love it, but they just don't know that it's not the truth. A lot of it's not the truth.
Well, that's interesting to hear, because I know a lot of fans do love the book.
Yeah.
But they feel, the fans that read the book and who are diehard Peter fans, they feel that it's true, that it's real. And
I know.
And hearing it from you, again, I said it earlier, we're all Kiss fans from the early days, and we still love Kiss today. But you have these diehards that want to defend Peter and they want to defend Ace. And hearing it from you, I mean, it's fact. I mean, you were there.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is a lot of it was untruthful and it was meant to hurt.
Yeah.
And you know that from past experience. So is this the truth? I mean, what you're saying, heartfelt, is that how you feel his book is?
I can't say anything past our divorce. That part of the book, I don't know much about. I mean, it's all whatever I've heard. But as far as up until the end of '79, I know a lot of it is just really extremely exaggerated. I'm talking about when he talks about me, when he talks about cheating on me, when he talks about the band. I don't know the story about Ace to be true. There's certain things that, and for him to say that Ace is the worst singer in the world, I mean, that was terrible for him to say that. I mean, a lot of people love the way Ace sings,
Well, there you have it. Again, another true story from somebody who's going to give you the real heart and soul of the Kiss background, okay? So again, if you hate them, you love them. That's the truth. I believe it. I mean, I hope you do. But, I'm really heartfelt on this, and talking to you makes it justified. Everybody's so against Kiss and the Kiss now, and just enjoy it. And Peter needs to stop being bitter, and
I know, he's very bitter.
I mean, I think that personally, these guys would be so much better off being happy and enjoying with everybody else.
Yeah.
So, and I thank you for having the truth and the heart to tell the truth.
My book is the most honest book and the most accurate book.
I've heard that, and I believe it. So who's next on a question? Your name, you're from, and your question.
question is, Peter's book, when he does talk about that was Sean is the fifth Kiss member, or the fifth Kiss. When you think about Sean the baby now?
Wait, I don't.
He calls him the fifth Kiss.
The question was, he says that Sean Delaney was the fifth member of Kiss. What's your take on that?
I agree. Sean Delaney does not get the credit that he's due. He created almost every single move on stage, and I was there to see them rehearsing it, and I saw Sean telling them what to do. And Sean was very animated. Sean was, I mean, I love the guy to death. I mean, he's just, I miss him so much, but he was definitely the fifth member of Kiss, without a doubt. Even, I think even more so than Bill Aucoin. I'd say Bill Aucoin's the sixth member. Sean Delaney definitely did not get the credit that he should have. He created the fire. He created all the theatrics that went with Kiss. Peter might have talked about levitating, but I think Sean made it happen. And Sean came up with all the explosives, and you know there was none of that before Aucoin came into the picture. I mean, and a lot of the outfits. I mean, I think I'm going to see Maria Contessa, who is the woman that made the outfits, and I'm going to see her in Florida next month. And I haven't seen her in 40 years. And Sean was also very instrumental with the costumes too. He would create, you know, he would suggest certain things, and he knew what worked and what didn't work. I mean, Sean was a very theatrical person, and he definitely deserves the name the fifth member of Kiss.
Awesome. All right, any more questions? Anybody? Oh, Philly again.
But I've been told by people that Kiss played in a barn in New Jersey, and then the people all sat on haystacks. Do you know anything about that? I would love to find out about that. If that was a true concert, that Kiss played in a barn, and everybody sat on haystacks.
That one I don't remember.
And there was a yodeling lady that came on before. Somebody told me they see Kiss from the beginning. I don't know if it has any truth.
I don't know about that one. I do know Peter played in Jersey a lot. I don't remember Kiss. I mean, I remember them playing in Asbury Park, and I probably, you know, the thing is, I did work. I worked until the end of '75, so they did go on the road, and Sean Delaney was with them. He would, you know the answer to that better than I do. But I would think in a Jersey concert, I might have been there, and I would have remembered that one. And I do have a pretty good memory, and I do remember Peter playing in a place where the stage was a boat, you know, and everybody was on a ship, and but that was before Kiss. And that was in New Jersey. Yeah.
Awesome. Any more questions for the ladies?
No, that wasn't Chelsea.
All right, well, we want to thank you. And Lyn, we hope you made your debut. We hope we made your debut. And we hope you're comfortable, and we want you back. Let's give it up for Lyn, and always Lydia Criss. And they'll be out here signing books and meeting fans. Please, see the balloons over there? That's Lyn's table. Go ahead and say hi. She'd love to have you guys come by. Enjoy the rest of the day, folks. We have the book over there, and Ken's going to be signing the book, and we're probably going to have a panel up here on the book in about 20 minutes, so we'll see you then.